Hey guys, what's up? It's CS back here with another installment here at my picks for UFC on Fuel TV, Gustafsson versus Mousasi. Alright guys, there's not much to say about this card. There's a shit ton of Swedes on it, and yeah, there's a couple interesting matchups, but we'll see how they pan out. Like usual, my preliminary card picks will be in the description below, but let's start off at the main event, Alexander Gustafsson versus Gegard Mousasi in light heavyweight. Alright guys, now what can I say about this matchup? I have to go with the guy who has more ways to win this fight in Alexander Gustafsson, but I do think that in those more ways to win, I think he's most likely to win too. Someone like Gegard Mousasi, really flat-footed stance, really stationary fighter, likes to sit in the pocket and kind of box with you, has a really nice right hook. He can drop you with either hand, and he has pretty good kicks as well, but the thing is that he's too passive-aggressive, if anything, you know what I'm saying? He'll kind of go after you if he does drop you. He has that killer instinct. The thing is that up until that point, he's maybe just trying to gauge distance and hopefully win a decision like that. Chances are someone like Alexander Gustafsson will be able to dance around him and pop a jab in Gegard's face. Gegard won't be phased by any of this, but he'll still end up losing on the cards, in my opinion, due to the lack of activity on his side as far as motion. So I think Alexander Gustafsson can get him there. I think he'll land a lot of jabs. I think he'll land a lot of body shots to Gegard as well. And I think he can clinch up with Gegard and beat Gegard there. You know, Gegard, as far as a close quarters kind of guy, isn't very good. You know, Keith Jardine was able to out-clinch him at times. And Keith Jardine was taking him down almost at will at some points. And I think that Gustafsson, working out with a lot of decent wrestlers like Phil Davis, definitely more than decent, I think definitely can expose someone like Gegard, like, you know, King Mo did in the past. So if I'm Alexander Gustafsson, I'd be a mixed martial artist in this fight, beat Gegard Mousasi on the feet, and at the end of rounds, take him down and win a unanimous decision. Maybe, you know, go after submissions. Gegard's pretty dangerous himself on the ground as far as his guard is concerned, but the thing is that Gustafsson, he's a good top position grappler. I really don't see him getting caught in anything there. I'd look to be active in this fight. Maybe we might see an exciting fight on the mat as well. So yeah, I gotta go with Gustafsson to win everywhere, though. I think the threat of a takedown will linger in Gegard's head, and he's not gonna look as prolific on the feet as we've been used to seeing him. So I'm going to go with Alexander Gustafsson, at least 48-47 unanimous decision. Maybe if Gegard Mousasi was fighting someone that's more inclined to stay with him in the pocket for 5 rounds, I might go with Gegard. The thing is that Alexander Gustafsson, he has a tendency to want to mix it up. This is mixed martial arts. He's going to keep Gegard guessing as far as moving in and out of the pocket and as far as going for takedowns. I think that Gegard has too much on his plate as far as what's this guy going to do next in Alexander Gustafsson. So again, Alexander Gustafsson via at least 48-47 unanimous decision. Now moving on. Lightweight matchup between Ryan Couture and Ross Pearson in the co-main event. Not even close, guys. Ross Pearson, what does he bring to the table? Pretty good takedown defense, pretty good judo, and he uses that stuff in reverse, of course. You know, he's going to want to outbox you, outkick you, and he can definitely do that against someone like Ryan Couture. You know, technically, as a striker, Ross Pearson is better than Ryan Couture everywhere. Ryan Couture is the definition of a grappler in MMA that really can't get you down to the ground. His wrestling, you know, what can I say? It doesn't have much setup. If I'm him, I'm running at Ross Pearson. Come when the bell rings. Hopefully not get caught, clinch with him immediately, hopefully is able to drag him down to the ground. I think it's unlikely, though. Ross Pearson does train with some good wrestlers as well over at Alliance MMA, and I think he's going to be able to use his wrestling in reverse successfully and win via unanimous decision at least. Actually, I'm going to go with a finish, guys. Ryan Couture hasn't stepped up to the plate against someone like Ross Pearson as far as someone with punching power. Of course, he did edge out KJ Noons in this last fight, but Ross Pearson, I think, is going to be out for blood in this one. I think he's going to be out for a fight bonus, and I think that Ryan Couture's striking defense is just not that good, and I think he packs a little bit more heat than KJ Noons. So I think with the amount of punches that are going to mount to Ryan Couture's face sometime in the second round, I'm going to say Ross Pearson eventually scores a TKO after stuffing a few takedowns. So yeah, Ross Pearson via punches, TKO round 2. Alright, now let's move on to that Philip DeFries Matt Mitrione heavyweight matchup, and like DeFries' fight against Stipe Miocic, I think it's going to go a little something like that here against Matt Mitrione. Now, Matt Mitrione doesn't have the D1 background like Stipe has, but he does have some wrestling, and I think he's athletic enough to use that in reverse successfully against someone like Philip DeFries. I think after Philip DeFries realizes that Matt Mitrione can't shake off those takedowns, I think Matt Mitrione's going to catch him with a hook when Philip DeFries feels like coming in with a punch, because in that fight against Stipe Miocic, Philip DeFries, after he realizes that he couldn't take down Stipe, he started swinging, you know what I'm saying? And he tried closing some of that distance with the boxing, and I think Matt Mitrione's going to clip him sometime in the first round and then finish him off with more punches. Easy fight for Matt Mitrione. If you ask me, just a bad style matchup for Philip DeFries. However, if Philip DeFries is able to get out of the first round, chances are it's going to be easier to clinch with someone like Matt Mitrione and hopefully grind out the decision for DeFries' sake. But again, I am picking Matt Mitrione to drop Philip DeFries in that first round and win via TKO due to punches. Alright folks, now let's move on to that Brad Pickett-Mike Easton fight in the bantamweight division. I gotta go with Brad Pickett all day, every day here. Someone like Mike Easton tries to look active on the feet, you know, doing a lot of shoulder rolling, some Dominic Cruz type of shit, but really he ain't throwing a heck of a whole lot at his opponent. And someone like Brad Pickett, you know, if he doesn't have to deal with someone's length and them being able to strike at a distance like Hen Brow or Eddie Wineland, you know, he's going to be able to pick him apart as far as just being more active with his boxing variety. He's going to throw, you know, a lot of crosses and a lot of body shots, move in and out the pocket, and then rip some more when you give him an opening. So I think that Brad Pickett's going to do that for the most part over the course of 3 rounds here. Mike Easton just isn't capable as a striker at all from what I've seen. You know, I know he has some striking out of what I've seen in his fights pre-UFC, but he just got really boring since he's entered the UFC. He's tried to come in with these safe-ass game plans thinking he can get away with them and just winning safely, but I just don't think he's going to be able to do that against someone like Brad Pickett. I understand there's been a lot of cuts as of late, and I understand he's been training real hard with his Alliance MMA teammates who are also on this card for this fight, but I just think that this sudden change of game plans for Mike Easton trying to revert to a more exciting style is just going to favor Brad Pickett. You know, when Brad Pickett is fighting someone who is taking the fight to him as well, and he really doesn't have to deal with those disadvantages as far as, you know, a lanky fighter, I think Brad Pickett, again, is going to be able to rip those combinations and just do that over the course of 3 rounds and hopefully get a 29-28 for his sake. I think it's most likely going to happen. And if it does go to the ground, I think Brad Pickett's going to be able to get back up underneath from the Team Lloyd Irvin black belt, that is Mike Easton. So yeah, I think Brad Pickett is going to be able to win this on the feet for the most part. Again, 29-28 UD. Guys, I just can't pick someone with butt ugly striking to beat Brad Pickett. Oh well, moving on. Featherweight matchup between Diego Brandao and Pablo Garza. Guys, if Garza cannot establish his reach early on in that fight against someone like Brandao, he's toast. You know, Brandao is a really aggressive fighter, not the typical Jackson's MMA fighter. He's going to come in, stalk you, land these wild-ass punches somehow, and of course finish you off with TKO. Of course, he wasn't able to do that against Darren Elkins. He gassed, and he ended up getting out-wrestled in the end. And someone like Pablo Garza maybe is able to establish his reach after Diego Brandao gasses, but I don't think Garza has much of a chin, and I think Brandao's going to be able to finish him within that first round. So yeah, you know, I got to go with Brandao first round TKO. I think that's the most likely outcome, maybe submission. But even if Brandao gasses, I think that Garza is not going to be able to do enough to edge out a unanimous decision, 29-28. So yeah, I'm going to go with Diego Brandao by at least split decision. But I think a first round TKO is most likely with some punches. So yeah, that's my pick. And let's move on to another featherweight matchup. It's between Akira Corisani and Robbie Peralta. It's going to be the last fight I'll be talking about because it is kicking us off on this main card. I've got to go with Robbie Peralta here over Akira because Robbie Peralta, you know, with his 4-inch reach advantage and the fact that I think he's already technically a better boxer, is most likely going to knock out Akira Corisani, if not score a unanimous decision. I think maybe Peralta's going to be able to knock down and out Akira Corisani sometime within the first round if Akira's not careful. But I think Akira's going to come in, train for this fight, but I just don't think he has the skill set to just outlast Peralta over the course of 3 rounds, and I think he's just going to take a beating. 30-27 for Peralta. You know, I just think he's the better boxer, so there it is, guys. Not much to say about that fight. It is what it is, but there you guys have it for my main card picks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this card. I think it's going to be as fun as the last one, so who knows? Preliminary card picks, like usual, in the description below, and stay tuned for a recap. So thank you for all the support once again. Deuces for all my supporters, bruises for all my haters, and take care.